What is happening, guys? Welcome to another update video. 51 weeks out? That sounds so far away, but in all honesty, 51 weeks out from the show, but 20-ish, give or take, weeks out from prep, which is not long at all in the bodybuilding world. 20 weeks goes by very, very fast. Off season doesn't feel like maybe that much, but when you're on prep, the weeks just go by so fast. Just because day in and day out, you're ticking the boxes, you're doing what you need to do, you're getting your meals in, you're getting your training in, your cardio, you're posing, all these things that just take up time, along with normal life things like work and functions and relationships and all that stuff. The days just go by very fast, the weeks go by, the months go by, and all of a sudden it's like, shit, I'm competing next weekend. So yeah, we're just enjoying the off season right now, making improvements, making gains. So officially wrapped up the new first week of the new training routine, I guess you could say. Mentioned in the previous video that I was building from after my shows in April. It's now August, and I got to a point where my body started to plateau, specifically on bigger movements, right? The isolation stuff, making big progress on like a bicep curl, to go from 30 to 40 pound dumbbells for clean sets of 10 on a curl is gonna take a lot longer than doing a bigger compound movement. So over the course of April to August, I got my bench up to like 280 for good sets of 5, got my deadlift up again, got my squat slowly climbing back up. The big movements were going up nicely, but as all good things come to an end, it began to plateau, and I opted to take a deload week, and which was only a deload 5 days because I felt good after the 5 days and was ready to kick things off. I was excited to switch things up again. So took the deload and then, started my new program of just different exercise selections, still following the same split, which for you guys that may not know, it is a 5-day split where right now it's Monday off, Tuesday upper, Wednesday lower, Thursday off, and then Friday is push, Saturday is legs, and then Friday push, Saturday legs, Sunday pull. So it's 2 on, 1 off, 3 on, 1 off, right? So big fan of that. I tried to do a 6-day split quite some time ago, and I didn't feel like I was getting good enough recovery from it, and that was just taking away from other sessions because I was just fatigued, right? So that's one thing you don't want, is to everybody thinks more, but if you're not recovering enough, especially as a natural athlete, if you're not taking time to recover, you're not going to be able to put all that effort into the following sessions. If you go hard for 4 days without taking a rest day, and then by that 5th day you're just bagged because you're exhausted, how can you expect that 5th day to be productive in the gym, right? So I tried to do the 6 days and it just wasn't for me, right? So the 5 days seems to be good for me, hitting all major muscle groups at least twice a week, and sometimes little muscles like calves, rear delts, stuff like that get hit maybe 3 times depending on what I'm doing. So yeah, it's good. So training wise, this past week, I'll throw some footage on screen now. So I'm trying to think of what footage would be first. So on Friday, that might be what you're seeing right now, is from Friday's push. I heard. Friday's push workout. Started with incline bench, formerly doing flat bench, but now we're going incline, and really didn't know what was gonna happen on incline. I've been doing incline dumbbells, but incline barbell is a little bit different. And the bench that I was on was it took me 3 or 4 warm-up sets before I felt kind of comfortable on the bench, like getting my footing proper, and it was just kind of weird. Thankfully I had my buddy working out with me, so he could kind of like spot me in case shit went south and it didn't go well. But happy to report that, so when I was doing flat bench, I was gonna do 2 sets of 3 to 5 reps, so heavy, and then a back off set of 8 to 12. That's just how I've kind of fallen into liking to do bench. There's no real rhyme or reason of it. Some can argue that doing 3 to 5 reps for muscle building and hypertrophy isn't the best option, but you know what? I get other volume for my chest elsewhere, And I like benching heavy. It's fun. I like it. I like being strong on the bench. I like having a good number. So that's what I'm gonna do. Because at the end of the day, if you don't like what you're doing in your training, you're not gonna enjoy it. And that's, you know what? Subject of the video right now. Let's go into that real quick before I continue. If you don't like your workouts, how can you expect to make progress over the long term? If you're going into each session being like, man, like I don't want to do this today, I don't want to do this exercise or this many reps, this many sets, that's your attitude going into your workout, you're not gonna last. You're not gonna last long term. You need to find what works for you and what you enjoy doing. And yes, there's certain parameters in your training that, depending on your goal, you're gonna want to do, right? If your main goal is hypertrophy, then yes, you're probably gonna need to do a good chunk of volume per muscle group. You're gonna wanna do your lateral raises and your calf raises because, you know, those are muscles that when you're competing in bodybuilding need to be developed. You can't just ignore them. But at the same time, the ratio of things you don't enjoy doing to what you like to do needs to be quite different, right? If the ratio of things you enjoy doing is 80% and then the things that maybe don't excite you is 20%, okay, that makes sense. You know, a little bit of give and take. But if the things you don't like doing is the bulk of your program because you think it's the right thing to do or the things you have to do, then you need to kind of reevaluate, like, A, what your goals are, and B, understand that your training can't be a chore. It can't be something that like you just dread. Like, training is legit the highlight of most of my days. Obviously, like, you know, I like spending time with my fiance and my dog, and work and stuff is enjoyable, but like that hour and a half I'm in the gym, like it's my zone, it's my jam. And that's one thing people are like, you know, you're so dedicated and all this stuff. Like, no, that's what I like to do. Like, I wouldn't not do it if I didn't do my workouts. I'd go crazy. That's why I could only deload for 5 days, or even when we go away on trips and stuff. Like, I'm making sure I can get my workouts in. So just think about that, guys. If you're planning your workouts out and you're developing a plan, or you're following a plan from somebody else and you don't like it, you need to reevaluate. So let's get back into the push workout. So incline bench, I started conservative for my sets of 3 to 5 because I didn't know where my strength was gonna be at. So I got to 245 for a smooth set of 5, and then I did a back off with 225, hoping for that 8 to 12 reps, and we smoked it. We got 12 reps on incline with 225, which is super cool. Very happy with that. Then we went into flat dumbbell press for 3 sets of 8 to 10, 8 to 12, something like that. Did hundreds for, I think, 12, 10, and 10, so good numbers with there. And then I did like a incline cable fly. So putting the incline bench between the 2 low cables and then coming that direction, getting that good squeeze. Really a big fan of that exercise. That's gonna be in there. And if you guys struggle with feeling your chest, try that out, because you have the cable pulling you down, so you're getting that good stretch. Then you have to fight it to squeeze back in. If you're a guy that doesn't feel your chest, or girl, sorry, if you're a guy or girl that doesn't feel your chest, try those incline cable fries out. They're a good one. Then we did just some shoulders and triceps to finish, the typical stuff, some lateral raises, overhead press, and some tricep work. Then on Saturday, my leg day, which was yesterday, we did, again, a little switch up. So we're doing kind of like a hybrid sumo deadlift, some squats, and then a lot of quad isolation. So I trained with 2 clients of mine, Aaron and Kyle. They're both Kyle looking to compete early next year, Aaron maybe not till the fall, if not a year after that, like 2021. Kyle looking to step on stage potentially April of 2020. Super excited about that. He's made some awesome progress. Aaron too. We haven't been working together long, but his attitude towards training will take him far. So yeah, those 2 guys trained really hard, really excited to continue working with them and continue to get them results and get them, you know, closer and closer to their goals of competing and stepping on stage. Kyle doing men's physique, which is actually like pretty cool, because I had seen him in person today, like yesterday, for the first time in quite some time, and I never really noticed how ridiculously developed his calves are, which is kind of cool, because in men's physique, the only real lower body muscles that need to be developed are your calves. Because you're wearing the board shorts, you really don't need quads, hamstrings, or glute development, which I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I think as an athlete, you should train all muscle groups just the same. But in men's physique, obviously those muscles are hidden, so he just needs some decent calves, which he already has. So we were doing some calf raises, and I was like, man, like, you got some gnarly calves on you, and that's cool because it's for me, calves aren't necessarily a strong muscle group, and I'm always envious of people's calves. So it was cool just looking at him doing his calf raises. I'm like, man, I worked so hard for these, and you just got them. It's upsetting, but very, very, very excited for him. And yeah, so we did that, and then today was my pull workout. I don't think I really snagged any footage from today's workout. It's just kind of in the zone, laser focused, and we did typical pull stuff. We've got this machine. It's called a kinesis machine. So it's got, it's like a big long apparatus, and it's got pulleys at different levels. So there's 2 pulleys that are kind of this way, 2 pulleys this way, 2 on the ground, and then this kind of like pad thing that I can do hamstring curls with. But the 2 cables that go this way, if you cross your arms and do like a rear delt fly, it's really smooth, and it's a good isolation versus like just a standard cable machine. So if you have a kinesis machine at your gym, be sure to give it a try. Then we did some pull-ups, pull-downs, rows, dumbbell row, machine row. I've been doing pull-downs with the rope attachment that you would do for triceps, putting that up and then getting down. So when you pull down, you can stay here, and then you can kind of separate and get a little bit more of a squeeze. So that's pretty cool. Try that out. Rope pull-downs for the lats. It's very, very good exercise. Another one I've been incorporating is pullovers. Some people call them like straight arm pullovers for the lats, where you set the cable up and you kind of just swoop your arms down. I've been doing it on a bench. So you put the incline bench, lean back, grab the rope, and then you swoop over this way. That's a good one for the lats. You get a good stretch because it pulls you back this way, and then you got to really drive to get that lat activation on the way over. Food-wise, nothing's changed. Standard. Actually, one cool thing, just for giggles, stepped on the scale, I think it was Friday after the workout, and at the gym, and just for giggles, like I knew this wasn't a direct indication of what I actually weigh because near the end of the day, so I was ate food all day. I was fully clothed after the workout. Stepped on the scale, said 191. So I don't think I've ever seen the scale say that 190, much less 191. So I took a photo of it because I've never seen that on the scale before. Pretty hyped about that. I know it's not accurate because Saturday morning when I stepped on the scale, it said like 186 or 187. But just for me, I was like, yeah, sweet. 191, it's almost 200. I'm swole, I'm jacked, but I'm not. I'm just short and fluffy in the off season. So that's something to talk about. Going to potentially today reach out to some coaches in the industry that I look up to, that I follow, and just see where things might be at for next year for me. Looking at really hunting down some natural pro cards, plural, with a couple different industries or organizations, not industries. Just next year, guys, I really want to go all out with my competitions and what I could potentially achieve for myself. Winning the overall in April this past April, not even same year, 2019 April. That was a big achievement for me, especially being a lightweight. Winning that overall kind of like solidified that, okay, you're on the right track, and you've been on the right track for a few years now. So the next step is a pro card in an organization, whether it's WMBF, OCB, IFBB, whatever it is. My goal next year, I'm putting it on record now, is a pro card with an organization. That's what I want. So I need to sit down now and kind of develop my plan of action for that. The only concrete show I have for next year is the Canadian Nationals, the Natural Nationals, which was just 2 weekends ago in Toronto. And that's the only show that I'm for sure doing next year, but it will not be the only show that I do. Just, I haven't figured out when the other ones are yet. The goal would be to find multiple shows within, a 4 to 6 week period that I can just bang out and stay in shape for and just peak. and peak and peak and peak, and just ideally walk away with some very strong wins under my belt. And again, winning that overall just kind of solidified that, okay, you've done very well. Now let's take that next step. Let's take on that next challenge of fighting for a pro card. And I think it's a very real possibility for me. By next year, I'll be 26, and been training for quite some time, and looking at how my physique is hopefully going to look next year compared to this year. Then I think there'll be a good chance that I can make that happen. So my plan is to today just kind of feel out some coaches as far as what they would think timeline wise, financially, what it would cost me, and just see what happens there, because I want to make next year really count for me. Just because after next year, looking towards getting married and that kind of stuff. So bodybuilding will have to be not that it'll be to the side, but competing might have to take, and the mindset of looking towards stepping on stage might have to take a bit of a step aside a little bit, which is nervous. It's nerve-wracking for me just because it is so important to me. It's what I truly love to do. I love to do it like just for me, but I love competing. I enjoy the whole process of the show day and the tan and the people you meet, and being on stage and showing what you've worked so hard to develop, and place things aside. Yeah, you always want to win. Well, I do anyways. Like, I always shoot to win. But like being on stage and people being like, wow, like look what you've developed. Look at the physique you've built. Like, that's what's super fun for me. So looking at potentially taking a break from competing after next year is something that I've been thinking about quite a lot the last few days. So I want to make next year a pretty impactful year, and just kind of show what I've been working on for a long time now. First time on stage was 2015, so next year will be 5 years of effort, right? And even longer than that, because I've been training much longer than when I was competing, but I've been very, very active in bodybuilding and much of my life surrounded by it since 2015. So it's been quite a long journey, and I'm excited to continue with it. But I'm also understanding that in the future it might not be where all my efforts are going to be able to go. So that's something that it's a weird one to think about. But with that being said, next year we want to do some damage. We want to make some impact. We want to climb the ranks of people knowing who I am and what I can do in natural bodybuilding, not only as an athlete but as a coach. There's lots of things I want to accomplish in the next little while. So that's where things are at. So I'm going to end the update video here, guys, because we're almost 20 minutes in, and I'm sure you guys are tired of listening to me ramble on about what I want to do. So hope you guys enjoy these update videos again. Like I say in all of them, if you want me to talk about something specific, let me know. Send me a message here on YouTube, comment below, send me a thing, DM on Instagram, which is at Leroy_Rollins_fitness. If you aren't following me there, be sure to give me a follow. And hope you guys enjoy in these update videos what I'm giving you, what I'm sharing, and talking about my journey, because that's what it's all about. So thanks again, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.